Everybody, welcome back to Mini Bike Mike's Garage. We're a couple weeks down the road from taking our 700 plus mile trip around Lake Michigan, the upper loop of Lake Michigan. And one of the videos that I wanted to do after this trip was to go over items that we wore or that we added to the bikes, and just kind of do a review and let you know my opinion anyway of how things worked, how they didn't work. And I don't know if I'll put links. I got so much stuff. I don't know if I'll put links to all the stuff in the description of the video. So if you see me, if we talk about something and you're interested in it, hit me up with a comment and I can send, specific people the direct link to whatever item that they were looking at. So I think first what I'm going to start with is kind of the items that I wore anyway, and I may talk about some of the items the other guys wore. So I'm going to start with the helmet. Now, this entire video is going to seem like a advertisement for Amazon, and it's not. That's where I just happen to have picked up most of the stuff. So, and that's where I got this helmet. This is a Sena or Sena. I'm not really sure how you say it. S-E-N-A. It's called the Outrush. And I picked up this particular helmet because it had the Bluetooth intercom system already installed into the helmet. It's got the speakers inside for the ears. It's got the mouthpiece, the mic here. And so that was easy. It wasn't anything I had to add. I liked the modular design, being able to open this, the entire thing up. And I'm not hitting the button right. Plus, you can open up the shield, and then it has the little visor for sun visor, which is kind of nice. So the helmet was $300 delivered to me, and I had a size large, I believe. Yeah, very, very comfortable. I had not worn it until, had I worn it? I think maybe Brock and I did wear it on a trip that we took, a pre-ride trip, that's right. But I hadn't worn it very much, and for the 4 days, it was pretty comfortable. A helmet I highly recommend. So the other reason I got it was being a Sena and having the Bluetooth. We bought these units, and this is not the entire unit. This is just what clips onto the helmet. This has a microphone. This is a Sena 20S or Sena 20S. And the other three guys had these that were hooked to their helmet, and then it has a mic that, they could come over here and talk. These, I got them off of Amazon again. They were like $200 for each unit. How did they work? Well, I got mixed emotions about, about this. When they work, they were fantastic. The four of us being able to communicate was just awesome to let each other know, let the guy in the back know, hey, this is coming up, or the guy in the back could say, hey, we've got a train of cars behind us, we need to pull over, or whatever. That part of it was fantastic. At times it did not want to connect. It was really good for connecting two people together, one-on-one. But it seemed like the more people you added, I don't know if it was trying to, for example, myself and Jay Bell were hooked most of the time really, really well together. He was loud, he was clear, I could hear everything. But most of the time when Brock was connected, his was muffled. The volume was much lower, even though we both had all our volumes turned up. It was almost like it was trying to daisy chain from my helmet to Jay Bell, and then to Brock, and then to Isaac or something. It wasn't a direct connection. Now, I have to admit, did we actually crack open a manual and figure out how to use all this? Of course not. No, we didn't. We didn't even look at it really until we were in the truck driving to Michigan. And we put them on the helmets. We started punching buttons. We got them to connect and said, okay, that's good enough. So, maybe the problem was with ourselves and not setting it up correctly. They did work. I just felt like for a group of 4 riders, it could have worked a little bit better, and that's probably our fault more than anything else. But I do recommend it, especially if you just got 2 of you. man, they're awesome. When Brock and I rode a week before the ride or whatever, we did 100 miles. It worked really, really good. So that's like I said, $200. Got that off of Amazon also. I wore a jacket that I got off of Amazon. It just has the letters ILM. I don't have the liner. Since it's gotten warm here, I've taken the liner out of it. So it actually has a liner that zips in, and I wore that during the trip up in Michigan. And I didn't have really anything else, I mean, other than just a shirt on underneath it, and it kept me plenty warm. This was a nice, comfortable jacket. I liked that you could be able to unzip the liner, take it out if you need to. It's got plenty of pockets and different things for whatever you need to do. And it's got, a back pad, it's got shoulder padding, it's got elbow padding. It's a jacket. It worked well. Thankfully, I didn't have to, put it to the limits to test it as far as protection-wise. We didn't have any reason to do that, but it worked well for me. I am working off of I can't remember all this stuff, so I'm working off of a list here. The jacket was $60 off of Amazon. So if you're looking for a jacket, you might check into that one. Let's see. The next thing I bought these gloves. I only wore them about half the time. In the mornings when it was a little bit cooler, I wanted something that would keep me warm. They actually kept me pretty dry too in the days that it rained. Now, these are just, again, Amazon special. They cost $30, and they are called Iron Jazz, J-I-A-S. I don't know if you'll see that or not, but they got, a little bit of, I'm sure that's just for looks more than anything, but padding on. They were very, very warm. Were they comfortable? These were an extra large, and I mean, they fit, but once I got them on, I didn't feel like I had as good a grip on the handlebar. It was harder to reach levers and those sorts of things. So they were just kind of bulky. So that's what I didn't wear them when it was warm enough that I didn't need them, but they worked. I'm happy I had them. I talked about this, I think, in one of the other videos, the main ride video that we posted. But for rain gear, myself and Isaac wore Frog Togs. This is a really old pair that I've had forever. I need to replace them. Got them off of, I can't remember where I bought these. I think I might have bought these at Walmart. You can get them off of Amazon. They're like $20 for a set for pants and a jacket. They're nothing special. I bought mine were too big. Isaac probably got a size too big, so they kind of were, they puffed up in the wind and so forth. But they did keep us dry for the most part. So Brock actually wore a pair of rain gear that I would probably look into buying when I go to replace these. And the company was called Nelson Rig, and his pair were $30. So that pretty much covers everything that we wore or had on our persons while we rode that I can think of, other than just our normal clothes. I think now I'm going to move into what I put on the bike, some of the accessories, and how they worked. So the first thing I want to touch on is the electrical. If you watch the build videos on these bikes, each bike got a brand new wiring harness. It was a TB515, Trail Buddy TB515 harness. Now, you're immediately going to say, well, Mike, wait a minute, these bikes have turn signals, and the TB515 doesn't have wiring for turn signals. And you're absolutely correct. So the reason I used it was because I had so daggone many of them. I buy them in bulk, the 515s. And you can get the TB422 that has the turn signal wires and electric start wires all in it. I didn't want to spend. I've spent enough money on these. I didn't really want to go spend more money on harnesses since I already had a bunch of the 515s in stock. So I installed the 515, and then I just added the extra wiring that I needed for run turn signals. The other thing, the 515 harness is $65 at Trail Buddy. If you're interested in that, you can look at it. It's pretty much plug and play with a Lifan engine, which is nice. To go along with the harness, I use the Amazon key switches, and I've done a few videos on those. That key switch is $24, and it comes with 2 really nice keys, sturdy. Again, we had 0 issues on 4 bikes for 717 miles out of all that, and that was awesome. Not have to search down shorts or wiring issues or anything like that. Everything worked great. The only thing we did was we blew 1 tail light bulb on Isaac's bike, and I think I went over that in the last video. So with the electrical, one of the issues that I tried to make sure was spot on was the charging system, and I'll get to this little USB unit right here, but I wanted to be able to have, obviously, so that we were charging the battery, the guys would be able to charge phones and those sorts of things. So I was trying to dial in and get the voltage that the battery was receiving, somewhere around 14 volts. And I originally started with an LED headlight bulb and an LED taillight bulb. And with doing that, I was getting too much. I was 15 volts or above. So what I wound up going with was, I did use I got this off of eBay, and it's a direct replacement right into that bucket, or like a K0 style CT70 bucket. LED headlight, and it's like 20 bucks on eBay. And then for the tail light, I wound up going with just a regular 1157. And that allowed me to dial in the voltage. The turn signals and like the speedo bulbs, all that, just regular incandescent bulbs. And I was running somewhere, while we were running down the road, 13.8 to 14.8 volts, which I was happy with. This bike has been sitting here for almost 2 weeks. It's at 12.9, so the battery is still fully charged on this bike. So if you're looking for an LED headlight that will fit this bucket, that one right there, very, very happy with it. Somebody made the comment, oh, they get hot, they'll burn out. We ran 4 of them for 700 plus miles, and we never had an issue with it. They're all still working to the best of my knowledge. Yeah, so very, very happy with how that turned out. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is continue, since I started here at the headlight, is just kind of continue to work front to back. This little USB charger, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put you in a handheld and bring you in so you can see it just a little bit closer. All right, I apologize, since I'm just holding this phone in my hand. If this gets a little bit shaky, I do apologize. So we started talking about this little thing, this little dude right here, and I got it off of Amazon. It was $15, and it's got 2 USB ports that you can plug to charge a phone or whatever. Turn it on. It's got a voltmeter right there on top. Shows this one was charging, or the battery currently is at 12.9 volts. We didn't have an issue with any of them. Every single bike was outfitted with that, and each one of them worked perfectly. I highly recommend one of those if you're wanting to be able to keep track of what your battery, what your stator's doing, how it's charging, and having the USBs to plug in your phone or what camera or whatever you've got. This worked well with us, well for us, especially since we seemed to have everything all dialed in. My bike, I had one of these GPS speedometers, Milan. I'm not sure if that's how you say that or not. Again, Amazon. That was off of Amazon. This worked great. The speedometer on all 4 bikes actually worked and were accurate. But this thing just offers so much more with having the trips and so forth, and max speed and average speed. It was just fun to look at, and it was extremely accurate to this speedometer too that were on the bike. I only had this on my bike. The rest of the guys didn't have it. But yeah, that's highly recommended. What was that? That was $30 off of Amazon. Brock had this phone holder made by Joy Room, and it just clamps right to the handlebars. And I had a different unit. This was much better, much more supportive. It's got, you know, at all four corners, it's catching the phone. I like this unit much better than the one I had. I had an older one on my bike. That thing, where's it at? Hang on just one second. I gotta find it. 20 bucks. That's $20 on Amazon if you're looking for a decent phone. Like, we use all had iPhones, or I believe, and that held it just fine. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is the mirrors. These are Kimimoto. They're off of Amazon. They are $36 for the pair. I have used about 10 pairs of these on different bikes, and they worked really well. I wish they were just maybe, you know, slightly longer here. I wish the mirror was pushed out just a little bit more. Maybe I'm just too fat or something. At some points I had a hard time seeing around me, especially when I put the Frog Togs on and they filled up with air and they kind of puffed up, and then you know, that made it more difficult. But I like the mirrors. I like the adjustability of them. They come with both right hand and left hand, a little adapter. So depending on how your threads are on whatever bike you're putting them on, they actually come, this bike, they're threaded right into the stock original control unit, but they also come with a clamp that will clamp around the handlebars that I used on a couple of the other bikes. All right, what else we've got up here? The throttle. A few of these bikes got an aftermarket throttle that I've used a ton of these. They're $14 off of Amazon. I believe this is supposed to be an electric start button, and I use it for a kill button and hook that up, and no issues on any of those. All right, what we got here? Bulb, mirrors, USB, throttle. I think we're ready there. Turn signals. This bike used all the stock turn signals on it. So all I had to do was just put number 89 bulbs for the 12 volts on this one. A couple of the other bikes, I used the Amazon aftermarket turn signal, which looks just like this, but it's a much cheaper version, where this is nice solid aluminum. J-Bell actually laid this bike down on this. I don't know if I get a good view of this. He laid it down on that turn signal, and it bent the stalk that comes out, the holes that turns up. But look at that. Didn't break anything, didn't even break the lens. Pretty sturdy light, and it didn't even blow the bulb. Thing kept working the entire trip, so I've got to try and straighten that out. But the cheap ones on Amazon are $14 for a pair of them, and I talked about it in another video. Change the bulb in it immediately. The bulbs are junk on them, but the signals, they're plastic, they can break, but they work pretty well, so pretty happy with those. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's move down to the Nibby carburetor. Most of you guys know I'm a huge fan of these Nibby 22s with a 125cc engine. So every bike was outfitted with a Nibby carb, which was $41. Each bike had one of these little pod filters, which was, I believe, $9 off of Amazon. We didn't have a single fuel issue the entire trip. We did run through rain a couple days, and so I purchased these little sock doodads, and this was the smallest ones I could find. And they were supposed to allow air through but keep moisture out, and it was $8 per sock on Amazon, and I'm pretty happy with how they worked. You know, they just fit over. These were so big, I actually pulled it up and around and basically covered the whole carburetor, and then I took a zip tie and zip tied it around so it wouldn't come back off. I did not get this on the first day that it started raining. We were out on that boat at Pictured Rocks, and it rained for a couple hours, and these filters got water in them. And then I put this on when we got ready to leave, and it took about 5, maybe 10 miles for the carb to pull out all the moisture that was in already before I got the sock on. But once they kind of got the moisture pulled out, this thing did its job, and I don't, the bikes ran pretty well. We were able to run, 45, 50, 55, whatever the speed limit was in the rain. So that I'm pretty happy with those. I don't think I really need to talk about the Lifan engine. You guys know, if you've watched any videos of mine at all, you know what a big fan of these I am. Most of these engines that are on these bikes, I've had them forever. They've got many thousand miles on them, and I bought them back when they were only like $250. Unfortunately, that engine now, to get it, I use the Seller PCC motor, and it runs you about $450 for one of those engines now. I haven't actually bought one in quite some time. I've gone to the Amazon knockoff of those, which is only $300 or less, but very, very good engine on that those black Lifan semi-automatic 125s. Okay, I put new chains on each bike. Got those off of Amazon. They're an RK chain, the gold. We did not have any issue with any of these chains. We did have a chain come apart on my bike, but that was before I put that chain on. After I put it on there, no issues whatsoever. What else do we have? Foot pegs. Each bike was outfitted with this set of Amazon foot pegs. I liked them. The surface was plenty large enough for your foot. It's got some serrated on there to give you a little bit of grip. They were comfortable. The only downfall of them, they come with way too long of a kickstand. And so you can tell I've cut that off and had to weld a new foot on it. But they bolt right up to the engine. They worked really, really well. They were $46 off of Amazon. This bike does not have them. A couple of the other bikes did. My bike and Isaac's S65. I put some different shocks. I wanted shocks that were a little bit longer and had a little stiffer spring rate to give, especially my bike, which was carrying almost 60 pounds. I wanted a little more clearance. I wanted to be able to push the swing arm down away from the fender, or fender up from the swing arm, however you want to look at it, to get some more room here since I was carrying so much weight. I bought some shocks off of Amazon that worked fantastic. They were $32 for the pair of shocks that I used. Very, very happy with them. This bike and one or two of the other bikes got a brand new back tire. It's a Kenda 275/17. It came with the tire and a tube, and I got them off of eBay, and they were $65. Didn't have any issues with them. They worked great in the rain. Didn't have any kind of traction issues. I think the last thing we're going to talk about is the pack out, the Milwaukee pack outs. And what I'm talking about are these units right here. Now on this particular bike, this CL70 and the other CL70 that was on the trip, my son Brock actually custom made this back rack to fit these two bikes. And he cut out the little openings to fit the bottom of the pack outs. So that just slides on there, and it worked out great. This particular size, I don't think they used the little tool tray, but this worked nice. They were able to put their clothes or cameras and whatever they needed to use or to take on the trip. And to the best of my knowledge, no one had any issues. No one had anything get wet or super wet anyway. These things actually have a gasket. I don't know if I can show this right around. So when you close them, it should be watertight. And I can't, unfortunately, I bought these at just my local tractor store, Rural King. And I don't remember, I forgot to look up what they cost. But you can get them, multiple different places, wherever. You can actually get them on Amazon too, but wherever you can buy Milwaukee pack out stuff in your area, I'm sure they have it, or you can go online. Worked really, really well. Now I used for my bike, I use the bigger ones. You probably saw them in the other videos. Hang on just a second. I don't know if I want to set that on that bike or not. Yeah, there we go. So I had these on my CT110, and I had all my tools and parts in the bottom one, and then my clothes in the top one. And there again, everything worked out. It was just, they stayed dry. I had no issues with them at all. Very, very happy with how that whole system worked and allowed us to carry the stuff that we needed for the trip. So, guys, I think that's pretty much it. That wraps up everything that we used. And I hope you found this useful. If you're looking for some of these items, like I said, hit me up with a comment and I'll get you a direct link to it. I'll try and take a little time and maybe look up the links and put them in the description. So you might look there first, but we'll see you on the next video. We certainly enjoyed this trip, and we look forward to doing more and being able to share more of this type of stuff with you guys. So everybody have a great day. I'll see you later. Thanks.